Hi everyone, it's Kathleen. Today we're going to make vegan pumpkin spice cookies because November is the time for all things pumpkin. I've even worn my only pumpkin shirt for the occasion. Alright, so we're going to dive in. This recipe is from Making Thyme, T-H-Y-M-E, for health. And I'll put a link to her recipe when I'm done. So this is actually very simple. I know it looks like there's a lot of stuff here, but it's really one of my more easy cookie recipes. So we're going to dive right in. So it calls for 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and feel free to use that. I'm actually going to sub it out with 2 tablespoons of applesauce, just because coconut oil is high in saturated fat and applesauce is not. So I like to get these little ones because then I don't waste it if I get the whole jar and it goes bad in my refrigerator. So we're going to start with the 2 tablespoons of applesauce. So it's equal amount oil to applesauce. And I already tried it, and it did work. I wasn't sure myself. And then you can save this, have it as a snack. If you double the recipe, you'll end up using the whole container. Okay, so we'll just put that aside, save that for later. And we're going to add it with our sugar. So it's a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. So there is some sugar in this. Even though they're vegan, they're not sugar-free. And I really like this Simple True Organic. As I've shown in the past, I'm a huge fan. I try to support their products. And this is a Kroger brand, so it's accessible for everybody, and it is organic brown sugar. So hold your ears. We're going to go ahead and blend these 2 ingredients together, either the oil and the sugar or the applesauce and the sugar. And then our next 2 wet ingredients are the pumpkin and the vanilla. So I just use this Trader Joe's organic pumpkin. Love it. And it only calls for 1/3 cup. So what I do instead of wasting the can, which has happened in the past, is now I just put some foil on it and I stick it in the freezer and I pull it out for the next time. I just only need 1/3 cup of pumpkin. All right, or again, you could double the recipe. So this recipe is going to make 12 cookies, about 12 cookies. So I put my 1/3 cup pumpkin, and then we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay. Vanilla makes everything have more flavor. Okay, 1/3 cup pumpkin. We're going to do a big teaspoon of vanilla, and mix those 2 ingredients in with our applesauce and brown sugar. We're adding in our dry ingredients. So it calls for 2 cups flour, and the recipe actually says 1 cup of almond flour. And this is fine almond flour that I love. And if you can't do nuts, you can use whatever flour you like. Wheat flour, gluten-free flour. All my recipes are gluten-free, so I do a cup of that almond flour. And then I do a cup of Bob's Red Mill all-purpose flour, or you can use oat flour. You can grind up your own oat flour from oats. Okay, but I really love Bob's Red Mill, and you could just use 2 cups of this to keep it easy. All right, so we're going to add in 2 cups of flour, and then the other dry ingredients, we have 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. Okay, so I measured that out. And just 1 teaspoon of ginger. So you don't want to do too much ginger. And then what is super important, don't forget the baking soda so they can help rise. And it's just, let's see, 1/2 teaspoon, yeah. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So notice there's no vegan butter, there's no vegan eggs, like a lot of our recipes, flax eggs or egg replacers. This is just using the pumpkin and the applesauce, okay, instead of the vegan butter and eggs. And then, though, you have to have the baking soda. And then 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which, of course, is up to you. I am going to add it for sure. Okay. And that is going to be it. So let's mix this together real good. And then we'll stick in the oven. And I should have said at the very beginning, please preheat your oven at 350. Then the oven will be ready to go. Get all your chunks out. We're almost done. You needed to add a little more applesauce or pumpkin if it's too dry. Do that. I think we're in pretty good shape here. Alright, okay. And of course, the fun part is that you can lick the beaters because there are no eggs. No chance of salmonella. Yay! Alright, so that is our beautiful dough. So see, that was pretty fast. Got the oven preheated at 350. And this will make, again, about a dozen cookies, depending how big you make them, alright? So let's see, I'm going to pull this out of our way. And then I'm just going to dish up a few so I don't take up too much time while we're on live video. And I just use my tablespoon. This seems to be the easiest thing for me. So I don't make them too small or too big. And then you can just make little balls on my very well-used cookie sheet. You can also use a little ice cream scoop. You might have to get your fingers dirty. Okay, and so on. So I won't make you wait while I dish them all up, but you get the general idea. Okay, so we're going to bake these at 350 for 12 to 14 minutes. It's just up to you how you like your cookies, soft or a little crisp. I like them a little crisp. My husband Wade, the cameraman, likes them soft. He's like, don't overcook the cookies. So anyways, I would put this whole thing in the oven and bake it 12 to 14 minutes, and through the magic of live video, I will show you our final product. Okay, so voila, here are these delicious vegan pumpkin spice cookies from Making Time for Health. They also have an icing that comes with it. Just to be honest with you, I'm not that ambitious to add icing. But if you wanted to, jazz them up for the holidays, that's something you could do. And then I'd like to show you what I pair it with. I'm in love with this caffeine-free chai tea by GypsyTea. This is Firelight Chai. You can get it at the health food store. I actually saw it at Ralph's even recently. We get it from Amazon. We buy it on the case. Buy it by the case. And I have to tell you a fun story. So 10 years ago, I quit all caffeine. I was a coffee drinker for 20 years, very addicted, but this got me off all caffeine because I loved it. I could still have my wonderful earthy experience in the morning, and I want to show you. So I put it on the stove and let it sit, and then I add vanilla soy and a little cinnamon, a little more cinnamon. And as I've written many times in books and articles, this is heaven in a cup. So again, you still get your awesome ritual of having something earthy and a little sweet, but without any caffeine or chemicals or drugs. So I love pairing my cookies with this delicious caffeine-free chai by GypsyTea. So I hope you'll try the cookies and the chai, and if you ever have any questions, please write me a little message, or if you have any ideas for recipes you'd like me to share, let me know. I appreciate you joining me, and as always, thank you for saving animals with your food choices. Enjoy the holidays.